Hello Techies, welcome back to our channel UiPath Boards. In this video we are going to learn about selectors. Let us give a brief introduction on selectors through this video. Before going to this video, I would request you to please do subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon for our upcoming videos. Don't forget to click on the all option. And please do share with your friends and colleagues too for better support. So let us start understanding this selectors concept in UiPath. Selectors, as the name says, it helps the bot or the executor to select some user interface or to select a attribute. So when we are dealing with UI automation is nothing but automating the user interface, right? Automating the user interface. When we are automating a user interface, that means a graphical interface, whether it is a web application or whether it is a desktop application, we need to completely rely on the attributes or the the elements on the user interface, right? Say for example, let us consider the WI app. So this is an application. In this application, when I am going to automate this process on this application, my automation completely relies on the position or the element or the attributes here, right? So in such scenarios, we need a technology or a process or some set of instructions to identify each and every element, each and every attribute over the interface. So in order to do that, we need selectors, right? There is a concept in UiPath called selectors, which helps the executor, say the bot, to identify the elements in user interface while automating the graphical user interface. Okay, so this is called selector. Let me give you a definition. Selectors is a feature in UiPath to enable identification of UI elements through their address and attributes. Attributes in the sense their parent attributes. Let me give you an example, a real-time example. If you want to give a part of a file in your PC, in your computer, you are supposed to provide complete path, right? Let's say some C colon, some folder name, right? And then subfolder name, then some file name dot with the extension. So this is similar to the this scenario, like when we want to find a file in our disk, in our local disk, we are supposed to give traverse through the folder, subfolder. Maybe there might be n number of subfolder, like subfolder 1, subfolder 2 and something like that. So in order to go to this file, this particular file, we are supposed to traverse through n number of folders. So these all comes as attributes. So the parent, say container, the folder name might be the container and attributes of the parents. So this is similar to the same scenario. Now let us consider the selectors and attributes here. What it will be doing, if we want to identify a element, if I'm going to identify this cache in this particular field, this element, okay, what is the container of this? This is the container. This WI application is the container, whereas it is under deposit transaction. So this is one attribute, parent attribute, and this is going to be the child of this one. So this is how it will traverse until it reaches the target element. This is my target element, right? Now it should follow some format, right? If you see here, we are following a format using some slash and all, right? So similarly, selectors in UiPath follow a format which is in XML, okay? It will be using XML format. So whatever we select, the target in application, the path to that particular target element will be selected into an XML format. So that XML will be saved in the executor, and then we are executing our automation. That XML will be considered as the path to identify the target element in your application, right? XML, you might have heard about XML, how it looks like. There will be a parent node, right? And then there will be a number of attributes, right? Maybe the root parent node is nothing but the root node, okay? And then n number of nodes or attributes inside this, and then until the last might be your target, okay, target nodes. So this is how it looks like. We'll learn about this in detail in our coming videos, but I'll be covering a high level introduction on the selectors in this video. So now let us see how the selectors looks like in our studio, how it really looks really in real time. Okay, now I'm going to create a sequence, a selector sequence. In this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the recording to select this cache, this field. This is my target field. Let us use the recording, basic recorder, and the recording to identify this cache. Okay, type the desired value. I'm going to type this, okay, enter. Now save it. So if you see here, it will be automatically taking some typing too. Now let us go to the selectors part of this. Under input target, you could see a feature called in properties. You could see a feature called selector. Selector, what it is really, text property used to find a particular UI element when the activity is executed. It is actually an XML fragment specifying attributes of the GUI element you are looking for and of some of its parents. That's what we discussed so far, right? Now let us see in detail how it looks. So how the selector editor came. If you click on this ellipsis part is this 3 dots, okay? If you click on this, you will get a selector editor. Just maximize this for your better understanding. Let me just increase this for your visibility, okay? So this is the selector editor. Selector editor is where we can edit the selectors. Now let us see the XML fragment. So this is how the selector looks like. It has a parent root attribute, root node, and it has few more attributes which will explains the path to that target element, okay? So it can be a class, it can be a title, it can be an ID or IDX, any attribute, right, which will best explains the path in order to reach that particular target element. We can edit these target elements, selectors, whenever it is needed. So whenever it is needed, in the sense in which all scenarios we need to go for selectors editing. We should learn about this very confidently, because if we don't know when to edit the selectors, if we by default if we keep on edit the selectors, selectors will not work properly. Maybe our automation will work sometimes and our automation may fail at sometimes. Okay, so we have to understand in which all scenarios we are supposed to go for selection, editing selection selectors. Okay, so I hope you got the information on how the selectors looks like, right? Now let us discuss about the selector editor more in detail in our next videos. Now I'll tell you when we are supposed to go for selector editors. Okay, I'll show you. Yeah, let us go to our, so when we are supposed to do, when to edit. In some UI applications, the target elements might be keep on changing. The position of the target elements might be keep on changing. If you see this WI, this particular cache in field might be static. Okay, it will be always here only. The position may not change, but in some applications like RPA challenge, or in some applications the target element position might be keep on changing. In such scenarios we are supposed to go for dynamic selectors. Okay, we'll talk about that in our upcoming videos, but just as a highlight, we should keep in mind, like when target elements position is not static. Okay, say for example, let me open the RPA challenge. So this is an web-based application where we can enter some values and then submit. If you see here, the phone number is at the first attribute. Now on click of submit, the positions are getting changed. Phone number came here. Role in company is the first one now. So so this is one example of the dynamic what to say application. So the fields are keep on changing every time, on every load. If you refresh, this may change now. Okay, so in such scenarios we should go for, we are supposed to edit the selectors, because we cannot rely on our selector which been created during our development. Okay, now let us take one more situation where there might be some ID changes. So say for example, when we are upgrading our version to some new version, I mean application to a newer version, in such situations we there might be chances of updating or change in the IDX or ID values, right? In such scenarios we are supposed to edit the selectors as well accordingly. So when there is an upgrade, version upgrade. Okay, in some software programs or in some applications, the layouts may get changed, right? There might be a change in layout and change in layouts and attributes. In such scenarios also we are supposed to edit our selectors in order to work for all the situations. Okay, so let us recap what we have seen so far. we understood that the selectors is a feature in UiPath to enable identification of UI elements through their address and attributes. Now the selectors, it will be in XML fragments. Say for example, this looks like an XML. It will be like attribute 1 equals to attribute value, then attribute 2 equals to some attribute value, so on. And the last one will be your target attribute or target element. Okay, and its value, it looks like this. We can say it as nodes. Okay, and this collects the address and what it will be collecting, address and parent nodes. Okay, in order to reach to that path of the target. Okay, now we have understood the situations where we exactly need the selectors editing, and then we have gone through the live example on how where and how can we change this selectors. Okay, now I'll show you something. We have a open in UI Explorer also. We can open here or here in the UiPath Studio ribbon. If you click on Open UI Explorer, I just want to show you the hierarchy, how it looks like. So this is our selected target, this one cache in TB. So if you see, there are multiple hierarchies. I could show you this one. This is just for your understanding. So this is the parent one, desktop wi.exe is the parent one. Inside this there are multiple attributes where client is one attribute. Under this client, there is the client. Under this client, there is ours. This is our cache in TB. Okay, this is the target element. So it is this how it is, wi, then client, and then our target. So in order to edit this, we can go for UI Explorer or the selector editor. Okay, this I just showed this to for your better understanding how the attributes will reside in the application and how it is going to capture when it is creating a selector exactly. Okay, so I hope you got a clear understanding on the selectors concept. Just a high level. We'll learn more in detail on the dynamic selectors and what kind of selectors are available and how to edit the selectors and what is the use of UI Explorer and selector editors and different options in it. So in our upcoming videos. So I hope you got this information which will be useful for you. Please do share with your colleagues and friends. We'll meet you through our next video. Thank you so much. Bye.